Hey, everybody. What's going on? Did you watch
Nick
the Super
Foles?
Bowl last night?
Who won?
Nick
The
Foles
Bears.
won the MVP.
Bears.
What should he do now, Rick Strom?
Great question. What should he do now, Jayar Jackson?
Let's
Retire.
discuss.
All right, fine. And see. Okay, so here are the 8 teams that I put together. And I feel like there could be more. Like, no matter where he goes, it's amazing how after winning the Super Bowl, we're like, yeah, he could be a backup. He won Super Bowl MVP.
Has that ever happened? Think about that, you know?
All right, so here are the 8 teams. Number 1 is stay with Philly. Number 2 is the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, by the way, I mean, let's clarify. Stay with Philly means he goes back to his backup role.
I think him and Carson Wentz, or if you're a German Cousin Wentz, could compete for the starting job. Or maybe, if you're Philly and you're Howie Roseman, you're like, well, hang on a second. What we could do, since he's under contract till after this upcoming season, you keep him there. You see how Carson Wentz does in rehabbing and coming back to the field. If it takes longer than expected, you only have the Super Bowl MVP for 1 more year. If Carson Wentz develops into the quarterback that he was going to be, like an MVP caliber player, then yeah, you could possibly trade him, but that decreases the value. Yeah. So you're really rolling the dice.
But it's tough. I mean, I'm sorry, I cut your list because I want to discuss Philly's situation a little bit more.
We'll go one by one.
Because then after that, I mean, think about it. You're a Super Bowl MVP quarterback, and even if whatever the rehab goes with, you don't want any kind of. I mean, how many years has he been in the league? He's been on four different teams.
Nick Foles?
Foles, right?
And he's probably been here for like 7 years.
Yeah, enough that's a long football life, especially for a quarterback. You don't know which play is your last one. You almost kind of want to act now. You're like, I'm going back to a backseat role or potentially another backseat role, and I'm the Super Bowl MVP. At some point, you got to go, okay, I understand what my history has been, not a Super Bowl quarterback, but now I am.
Yes.
I'd like it now.
Like what?
Recognition, starting role. You got to have a starting spot somewhere for sure. I mean, I get the ego if that's what would happen.
Okay.
I'm here to play football.
So you don't stay in Philly then, if you're Nick Foles? That's a no.
I mean, he would like to if he can start, but then the thing is, he'd have to understand you just had a star quarterback that went down. That's the only reason you had a chance. It's a really tough situation.
And took advantage of the situation.
Absolutely.
The next team is the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the reason is they have not 1, not 2, but 3 free agent quarterbacks that are going to become free agents in due time. Case Keenum, Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Bradford. Their defense is awesome. All they need is a quarterback. Now, you're going to the Vikings, who are losing Pat Shurmur because he's going to the New York Giants. Pat Shurmur, former offensive coordinator of the Vikings, able to get the best out of Case Keenum that we have ever seen out of Case Keenum in the National Football League. So that's my number 2.
That's the other thing, right? I said a million times, you guys are tired of hearing me say it. It's a system thing. Look at the way the Patriots operated when Tom Brady went down. Again, 3 quarterbacks came in and were pretty successful. The only one that lost the game was like the rookie.
But you can't decrease the value of Tom Brady being awesome.
No, exactly. But the thing is, if a system is good enough, people who aren't even nearly as good as this Hall of Fame best quarterback ever can still win games. So, although.
But like to the Vikings' point, we don't know what system they're going to run.
We don't know, but we know
they lose their OC.
We know the system that worked last night for Nick Foles. Or worked for the rest of the season and into last night with Nick Foles.
Bench Malcolm Butler. No, okay, sorry.
So, I mean, that system worked. Whatever the system is, if it's any kind of way different, maybe it doesn't work for him. Again, man, you got to think about what you'll be successul in, and you're not sure.
And that's where he has to weigh his options right now. So we're trying to lay that out.
I hear you, but it's just those types of factors need to come in all the time.
So what I'm leaning towards is good defenses and offenses that are a quarterback away. The next team at number 3 is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Look, Blake Bortles had a great playoff run, okay? He was really good against the New England Patriots. Patriots' pass defense was terrible this year, but he had a good game in Foxborough against the Patriots. Hard to do. Do I think that Blake Bortles is going to be the next coming of
Nick Foles?
Peyton Manning, Tom Brady? No.
He's the next Nick Foles.
Who would you rather have, Nick Foles or Blake Bortles? Blake Bortles knows the system.
No, you stay with your guy.
Stay with Blake Bortles.
I'm so much of a stay with what you have if you're close kind of guy. We talk about NBA all the time and what the Cavs need to do. I'm less on
Apples
to shake
and oranges
everything
because
up.
of the sports, though.
Well, but the idea being, if you have stuff that's working to a degree, if you just suck, yeah, change personnel.
Blake Bortles sucked until that playoff run.
Right, so maybe there's something there. You got to keep trying it.
You really gonna say that Nick Foles is not a huge upgrade over Blake Bortles?
I would say so, but I don't know as far as, again, in this system. Blake Bortles succeeded in the playoffs. He did.
Yes, so did Nick Foles.
On another team.
On another team.
It doesn't transfer over.
On another team that doesn't have as good of a defense, but a better offense.
Yeah, but the way you said apples to oranges between basketball and football,
it is because one player has such an impact.
This is apples to apples, but it's green apples versus red apples. It's a little different. Each team is a little different with the same sport. Absolutely.
A Granny Smith to a Honeycrisp?
Yeah, maybe the Eagles are a sour apple.
What's the better apple?
Well, the red delicious apple is the worst apple, even though
it's not delicious at all.
It's marketing.
Right, and it didn't work.
Well, it worked for a long time. Everyone still calls them red delicious apples. We just found out 2 years ago that they suck. This should be called
I need
shitty
the
delicious
crunch,
apples.
You know, of a Honeycrisp. Like
Honeycrisp
I savor that crunch.
Absolutely.
But why are they the most expensive?
Because they're the best.
Amen to that, brother. Next on the list, the Arizona Cardinals. You don't know if Larry Fitzgerald is going to stay, but if he does, hey, it's a win-win. Number 5 are the Denver Broncos if they don't pursue Eli Manning to take down the New England Patriots. Number 6 is the Cincinnati Bengals. Well, there are 2 number 6s, so Rick doesn't know how to count. So I guess number 6A is one of 2 New York teams, because technically they both need a quarterback. The Miami Dolphins, and then lastly, just don't go to Cleveland.
Right. So I mean, also just one last thing on where he can possibly do something is, whatever team, and you think Cleveland first because they're going to get the first.
I still think they draft a quarterback, so it's not going to happen.
So, but the thing also, but then there's a way to go about it. We talked about this before. And now an experienced quarterback go to a team that can groom the next starter. And if he's successful enough, he's got 3 more years starting for this other team. So if a new kid comes in, and I think I mentioned this last night, either one of the Southern California quarterbacks, everyone's touting
Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen.
So once they come in, you don't want them just throw them into the fire because bad teams destroy young quarterbacks because your first NFL experience is getting hit in the back 15 times because you don't have a blindside block. So you don't want to destroy a man's life. So you have someone who's experienced.
Well, if you go to the Browns, you're going to ruin someone's life. It's default. There are 3 givens in the world, all right? Death, taxes, and the Cleveland Browns not producing quarterbacks. We all know this at this point.
And if they want to change their fortune, you think about, you want to groom a young guy and have someone who knows what they're doing. Pay them the money, let the veteran come in and do the right thing and calm the locker room and get some kind of a continuity.
So what should he do? I laid out 9, 10 different teams. What should he do? You're Nick Foles. What do you want? It's technically not up to you.
I want the starting role in Philadelphia if I'm Nick Foles.
So you want to stay and compete with Carson Wentz?
Yeah, but that's not going to work out.
It's not going to work out because now the expectation is, well, if you start, you better win the Super Bowl. We're going with Carson Wentz again.
Because then say you win the role or Wentz isn't ready yet, and you start the first 3 games, and you're 1-2, and now Wentz is ready.
Yeah, see ya.
Your ass is back on the bench.
Yes. So did you just talk yourself out of it?
No, all I'm saying is there's no real answer, man, because you don't know. Because everyone's still surprised that Nick Foles just won the damn Super Bowl.
I disagree. I think I do know. It's Minnesota.
Yeah.
You request a trade to Minnesota. You have a defense that's ready. You just won in their home freaking stadium in Minneapolis. So why not just stay there? Go there, buy a house on the lake, and just chill. Because that's what Nick Foles likes to do. He's a chill guy. Go to Minnesota. You just won in that state, won in that city. Represent their team. Request a trade there. You got Dalvin Cook coming back. You got Adam Thielen, hooked on a Thielen. You got Stephon Diggs. You got Kyle Rudolph. You're ready, man. This team is so ready. So just
all their quarterbacks are just going to go away.
They're all free agents. They can technically go away as long as they want, unless the team offers them something.
So was that smart for the Vikings to completely shake up their entire situation when they're 1 game from the Super Bowl?
You're not shaking it up because you have. Well, Case Keenum's going to want big money. Nick Foles is still under contract for 1 more year with a team-friendly deal. So you trade for him. Maybe you sign him to a 2-year extension so you have him for 3 years and not a lot of guaranteed money. Have him earn it along the way, which, of course, he's prone to do, as he's shown many times over now. Go to Minnesota. Seems like a win-win.
Cool, but the thing is, that's a good answer.
Cool.
To your thought process, what do you believe he would be successful there, or do you think that's what he should do for himself?
I don't
think the Vikings win again with Nick Foles.
Come on, man. We're talking about somebody that just reached the peak of his NFL career by winning the Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP as a backup who thought that he was going to retire 3 years ago.
Absolutely.
It will never get this good. No matter what you try and do, you will always be chasing the shadow that was and still is way ahead of you. It's a smokescreen at this point because I don't think he's going to win another Super Bowl.
Okay.
I would hope that he does, but you're always going to chase this one thing that you had that you will never be able to replicate again, in my opinion.
Oh.
It was a perfect situation for a perfect player at this point in time.
I have an answer. I like your answer, by the way. You didn't really answer, but it's good.
I answered.
Do you think he'll be successful? That he won't? So if he goes to Minnesota,
I don't think he'll win a Super Bowl. Like, that's the thing.
Will they do better? Will they get to a Super Bowl, or will they do worse than they did this year?
Minnesota, incredible.
Is it an improvement for the team?
If he goes to Minnesota, yes, complete improvement. Yes. Do I think that Minnesota, let's say Carson Wentz was still there, and Nick Foles was with Minnesota, do I think that they would have lost 38-6 or 10? No. They would be better.
You're right.
Thank you.
Okay. And also, you forgot one last team. So my suggestion, since Tom Brady is washed up and it's all over, I think Bill Belichick should make a trade, send Brady out of town, bring in Nick Foles. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Let's keep it real. Put him in the system.
Because he didn't screw up the quarterback with Jimmy Garoppolo already. So let's just try and bury ourselves that much further.
And just, I mean, you got more Super Bowls ahead of you. Tom Brady's done.
No, he's not.
By the way, that's what I'm only saying it because people are saying that now.
I know. They're stupid.
Is Tom Brady done?
The answer? No.
Like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you think.